Greetings, everybody. This is King Bob coming at you from King Bob's Kingdom. Short little video here today. Going to show you a little tip I picked up from the Steam forums. The issue revolved around installing Flight Sim 2020 content into 2024 when 2020 is no longer installed. I, back in December, uninstalled 2020. Ran full bore with 2024, but then there were some 2020 content I wanted to install in 2024, and it just wouldn't let me. It basically tells you, hey, I can't find the install for 2020. So I picked up this little trick on Steam. Hopefully it'll help you out. Again, this is specifically for the Steam version of Flight Sim 2024. I'm sure it works in the store version, but since I don't have the store version, I'm not quite sure of paths, which I'm going to show you where you have to, utilize this little tip. So, one particular piece of content I wanted to install was the Black Square Piston Duke and Turbine Duke. They right now only have a 2020 install or installer. So as you can see, I have mine purchased via Contrail. So I found out the hard way that you can install this in 2024. If I click on the bundle, you can see it's not installed right now. Basically gives you the option to try to, but watch what happens. Say I want to try to do the Piston Duke. So we click on it, and it says, yeah, you can't do this. The selected simulator is not installed. Product downloads have been disabled. Well, that stinks, because both of those planes are fantastic. The Black Square, the Piston, and the Turbine Duke. So I found this little trick. So let's close out of Contrail for a brief second here. And the trick is pretty simple. You're going to open up your Windows Explorer and navigate to your users folder, your user profile name, AppData Roaming. And if you scroll down in Roaming, you will see, like me, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Now, when you install 20 from Steam, there will be a folder here called Microsoft Flight Simulator. So that's basically the trick. You create a new folder. You call it Microsoft Flight Simulator. I spell that right? Of course not. Microsoft. And then you go to your Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 folder. You copy the UserCfg.opt file. Do a copy on that. Go back up to AppData Roaming and paste that into the folder you just created, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Paste that in there like so. That's all you have to do. So now let's open Contrail again. And let's see if it will allow me to install. So back into Contrail. I'm going to choose Microsoft 2020 since the Black Square, the Duke, the Turbine, and the Piston are specific Flight Sim 2020 content. Go to My Products. Find the bundle. Let's try installing the Piston Duke. So now we click on it. Now look what happens. Now we get install. Click on install, and it's going to go ahead and install the Piston Duke. This seems to work well. I've done this with the Duke. Trying to think what else I'm sure there's something else I've installed in 2024 that had a specific 2020 installer, but we'll use the Duke as the example for the time being. As you can see right now, I went ahead and installed, and hey, look, now we can actually launch the installer for the Duke, for the Black Square Piston Duke. Again, remember, before we created that folder, would not allow me to install the Black Square Piston Duke. Now it's allowing me to. And as the installer installs, slide this over to the side. You can see it's, again, the process is pretty simple. On your C drive, go to your users folder, your local profile name, AppData Roaming. Create a folder called Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's finish that. Create a folder called Microsoft Flight Simulator. Copy the UserCfg.opt from the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 folder into and paste it into the Flight Simulator folder you just created, the Microsoft Flight Simulator folder you just created. I think what that does is it basically tricks these installers. Not that I think, I know it does because it works. It tricks it into saying, hey, I have 2020 installed. Quick little tip, quick little trick. Sure enough, if we go to our community folder, there it is, the Black Square Piston Duke. It's installed, and it will be usable in 2024. Now, what I do after I install whatever content I want, I like to delete this folder. You don't have to do that, but I just like to do it. Because if you have things like the Phoenix, you know, the A320 series, or the or you're using Navigraph, it's going to want to install 2020 versions of those, which I just don't want to do since the ones that install for 2024 work. Basically, just delete it at that point, and you'll be good to go. You can load up the game, which we will do right now. And we'll prove my theory that now I'm able to fly the Piston Duke. Like I said, if you haven't, and you're into GA style aircraft, the Piston Duke and the Turbine Duke are two fantastic planes from Black Square. And yes, they do run perfectly fine in 2024. They're not 2024 specific, I guess, or I'm not sure. Maybe Black Square is eventually coming out with a update for them, but as of right now, they work. But again, like I said, they're not specifically made for 2024. So we'll let 2024 load up. And I am enjoying how quick 2024 loads up compared to 20. But in saying that, once SU3, Sim Update 3 drops, and they give us the ability to download more content to install on our local drives, this load time will start to grow also, similar to how it is in 2020. So the more you install locally, the longer that, or at least from what I've heard and seen, the longer that load time will be. So if you're used to the Sim Update 2 load times in 2024, the more content you install, the longer this load's going to get. but everybody wants to download stuff or download more content, so there's, implications to that. Where you have everything streaming, or not streaming, but loaded onto your computer. Any second now, we will be in. There we go. So let's see. So if we go to start, and we go free flight. And by the way, the iFly is a fantastic plane, which is also, even though it's experimental in 2024 right now, it works fantastic. Now let's type Duke. Oh, no, actually, that was searching for the airport. That we do not want to do. And look at that. Piston Duke is now available to fly in 2024. Looks like it still may have some issues with, I think this is where the call sign identification letters go. See what happens when we load it up. Go to my home airport. Spawn out. We use live weather. Start the flight. Not the greatest weather day here. But let's see if this works. It should. There is the Piston Duke. And you can see the flickering that was in the preview screen when you selected the plane. I believe it's where the... This doesn't look right. I don't know if that should be there or not, the identification number. But either way, there you have it. Back out of here. Quit the desktop. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. So again, very simple process. You want to install 2020 content to be usable by 2024, but you no longer have 2020 installed, and you don't want to spend the time of installing 2020, which is a long install. Pretty simple process. C drive, your users folder, your local profile folder, AppData Roaming, create a new folder, Microsoft, and I cannot spell today. There we go. Copy UserCfg.opt from the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 folder. Paste. And that's it. So I hope this helped somebody out there, because I know it was bugging me. If it did, cool beans. Maybe throw me a like, maybe subscribe. Not making money off this, never will. So it is what it is. But I just like, sharing little tips that may make someone's life easier, even if it's just one person's out there. So again, this is King Bob coming at you from King Bob's Kingdom. You all have a most wonderful day. See ya.